episode of the podcast. And actually, before we get started on our new episode, do me a favor. Why don't you just subscribe wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast? It would really go a long way to helping out the podcast grow. So please subscribe wherever you are watching or listening. Our Instagram and TikTok are Family Bases Pod. Bases is like base, BASES. Family Bases Pod. Please subscribe. Now enjoy the episode. And welcome to episode. What episode number is it? I think it's 22. So welcome to episode 22 of the On a Family Based podcast. My name is Jake.
My name is Ben. Jake, real quick before you jump in, who's your favorite player to ever wear number 22?
Bro, I can't think of anyone.
Emmitt Smith. Go ahead.
I mean, being from Chicago, Emmitt Smith.
Oh, Matt Forte then. How about that? Chicago Bears, Matt Forte.
All right, that's not bad. I'll stick with that.
We're going to go every week. I'm going to ask you a different one.
Next week, Jordan.
No, you can't say him. You got to pick a different. He's too famous. We'll save it for next week. Give you time.
All right. Fair enough. All right, so we're going to transition a little differently because we actually have not recorded or been together in 3 weeks. So, and we've had episodes come out since then, but this is the most recent actual conversation. So, right, yeah. Ben, in the last 3 weeks, what you been up to? What's a highlight?
Yeah, I missed 2 weeks ago. I think I had COVID. I think that was the week I might have been sick with COVID.
That was, I think, a month ago.
Maybe. I have no idea. It does feel like forever since I've seen you. Yeah. But I'll just give you the cliff notes because I'm not really sure. Basically, had a lot of parties, like family parties, running around. My wife's dad's birthday, and then we did some stuff at the house. Hung out. Went to a Sox game, which I'm sure we'll talk about later.
We will.
I went to a White Sox game. That was a lot of fun. And then I saw Doctor Strange. I didn't love it. I wanted to love it, and I didn't love it. I gave it a...
Don't talk about it. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. All right. So I saw some Doctor Strange. I think... I went to Top Golf for the first time. That was really fun. That was cool. Have you ever gone? Have you ever gone to a driving range at all? Have you ever played at all?
I've been to a driving range. I have not played a round of golf, or I've never been to Top Golf. I feel like everyone's been there now, but I haven't.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It was my first time. I went with Drew and Viv and my wife. So yeah, dude, we've just been hanging out a lot, doing that kind of stuff. It's been nice. I think we're playing another Cubs game here in a couple weeks, maybe. And and last weekend I got to babysit for Dan. I saw Juliana and Dominic for a couple hours, so that was really nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So they're doing great. They're adjusting, to life,
right?
With the change. But they're doing well, and Katie's doing well. So I'm really happy for them. So big shout out to Dan.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically been it. And then, obviously trying to catch whatever Cubs game or Cubs scores because I don't have marquee, so I can't watch Cubs games. But obviously I get the scores and then catch whatever games I can on Prime because they do like a free game a day or whatever. So it's basically because it'll be like, here's the Guardians and the Pirates. And I'm like, well, it's literally better than nothing. So I'll watch a couple innings of that. And then I know you're not the biggest NBA fan, but NBA playoffs have been insane. So I've been watching as much of that as I can as well. So what about you, buddy?
I mentioned when we last talked 3 weeks ago, but my family was very fortunate, um, and it just seemed to be the best time for all of us that we actually had been promising my daughter that we'd go to Disneyland in LA as soon as the pandemic is over. And it's not over, as Ben just recently had COVID.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But, but
Jesus' grandparents have it now, or just got over having it now. So God bless their,
right,
they're in their late 80s. So thankfully
yeah,
they made it out.
yeah. So the pandemic is not over, but we actually got to go, and it was great weather when we were there. We went on a ton of rides, did a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I mean, the point was my 6 year old had fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was a good memory. But I mean, if you are watching this on YouTube, you'll see my shirt. I got a pun shirt.
I love it.
It says Saber of the Moment for Darth Vader on it. So yeah, I mean, it was overall a good time. And then, we talked about this before we were, on the on the podcast. But then from LA, we drove to Dallas's wedding in Nashville, from LA, and so that was a long drive.
Yeah,
Some parts of that drive were okay, and some of those parts were not fun. And some of those
yeah,
parts are
absolutely.
I'd be happy to never see some of those parts again.
So
Uh,
yeah, yeah, that's such a long drive. Go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it took us quite a few days and whatnot. But I mean, again, we got there. It was great. That's the reason why Dallas is not on, is because it was just his wedding. We're not gonna force him on right now or anything. Um, but yeah, so it was a good time, and then we came back, and I'm just happy to be in my own bed.
Oh, sure, yeah. It's fun.
That's it.
Like when you go on vacation, is great, but it's always that first night's sleep back in your own bed when you come back. It's just
Mm,
it's different, you know. It hits a little bit. It's a little bit different. Let me ask you this: you've been to Disneyland and Disney World,
yeah,
correct? Which one do you prefer? Because
it
I've never been to
depends.
the California one. I've never been to Disneyland.
It depends on what you want and what you like. If you like classic Disney, like old school stuff like Alice in the Wonderland stuff and Mr. Toad, and kind of like the old, it was Disneyland was the first. So it has a lot of like vintage classic aspects. It does have new stuff, but Disney World is like you have to go for like, I mean, honestly, if you want to get a full experience, Disney World, you should probably go for at least 5 days.
Yeah, and just take out another mortgage on your house to do so.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So Disneyland is cheaper. Yeah, you can go for 1 day. 2 days is better. So it I mean, I like both. Whatever my wife and daughter want to go to and have fun at, I don't care.
Sure.
Whatever.
What's your
So,
stance on Six Flags?
boo.
Dude, it's great for us in Illinois, though.
Yeah, but I mean, anyway, so from the city, I mean, you have to take it a real drive to get out there.
Well, yeah,
And
Gurnee. I mean, it's up there.
yeah.
Dude, I mean, Six Flags was fun when we went the second to last time I think I ever went. My buddy Fitz, who you know Fitz,
Yeah.
right? So he had some kind of inside pass to go to Fright Fest like a week before it
Mm,
opened to the public. So
mm,
they were still kind of setting stuff up, and people were like working on their characters and yada yada yada. So McNeil was there with us. And
yeah.
have you ever been in the Superman ride? The one where you're strapped up.
No. No.
It comes over you like this, and you're kind of like dangling in the air. and you're supposed to be like
Fun.
flying like Superman.
Right.
And yeah, McNeil sobbed like a baby, cried the whole time. Dude, and when I tell
Well,
you, he was probably 28, 27, 28, like too old to be crying on on a roller coaster.
well, as
That's
soon
for sure.
as we get him on, we're definitely gonna mention
Oh
that.
yeah.
I
Oh
did
yeah.
not know about that, but
Yeah.
that'd be fun. You know what? Let's actually just jump right into the Cubs. So first base is always talking about the Cubs. We're from Chicago. We're Cubs fans. But to be honest, over the last month, it has not been fun to be a Cubs fan. The first couple weeks gave us some hope. They were around 500, even over 500, and last month they have been mostly bad.
Most of the time, yeah.
I mean, outside of, again, we're recording this on Monday, the 16th. So they finally won a series. Their second and third series they won this year. They won the last two series against Padres and then against the Diamondbacks. So they've only won 3 series ever this year. Every other one they've split or lost. So it's not been fun, to be honest.
No.
So the question I had right off the top, I think the Cubs, as we record this, I want to make sure I'm getting this right, so I'm not like slandering them, by saying how like if they're worse than what they actually are. So the Cubs entering today are 13-20. They will probably win this game. They're 13
Eh,
and 20.
knock
So
on wood.
14 and 20 going into Tuesday. So, Ben, I want to ask you, are the Cubs just in a slump or are the Cubs just showing us who they are?
So the Cubs are bad.
Mm,
Cubs are bad.
yeah.
They're this is who they are. You know what I mean?
Mm,
We're gonna if we play, let's just call it 5 series a month, right? Like, and I know that's not right, but let's just do 5 series a month.
okay.
They're gonna lose 3 of them, guaranteed. Might
Yeah.
split one, lucky to win one. So based on those numbers, you're gonna lose a hell of a lot more than you're gonna win.
Yeah.
And so everything has not been great. Justin Steele pitched well yesterday.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little bit for him. And the Cubs are obviously crushing it right now. But you remember what we talked about when they put up the 21 runs or whatever? I
Yeah.
was like, they're going to score all their runs in one game, and then not going to score for a week. And this is what's going to happen today. They're going to put up a bunch of runs, and then the bats are going to go ice cold, and we're probably
Yeah.
going to end up losing to the Pirates. Losing the series to the Pirates. But,
Yeah.
so I think, but to answer your question, yeah, this is basically who the Cubs are. Yeah.
I want to be optimistic, but I can't help but be realistic. I feel like I'm always the default realistic Cubs fan. I believe this is who they are. I believe if you extrapolate 13-20 over the season, this is just what you get. And I don't think they're a 500 club. I think they're under. I don't think they're going to be super under, but you never know. I mean, that's just kind of how the Cubs do. Um,
So what did we say? There's 6 games under five. If they win today, there's six under 500.
yeah.
Where record wise would you be happy at the All Star break?
Oh,
Because
geez.
obviously that's still months away, so we have plenty of time.
Right. Right.
But where would you feel most comfortable with a record at the All Star break? Within 10 games under 500, would you feel like that's a success for this team?
If the Cubs are still like I'd say 6, 7 under. I think they have a that's a good first half. I think
Sure,
for them.
sure, yeah.
So, what what do I think is realistic? Yeah, I think it's probably 15 under Um, but somewhere between 15 and 10 under, something like that.
That that'll sure make getting 97 wins pretty hard. So,
Yeah,
but you
yeah. I
know
mean,
what? We're
let's
doing it. We're riding
let's
with it.
no, we. I immediately. You are gonna have to hold to that 97. You
Mhm.
predicted the Cubs are gonna win 97, and I'm gonna say they'd be lucky to go 500 as they're playing right now.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
I put this in the outline for us to talk about. So we talked about I just as I've been watching the Cubs and I mean actually since I've been gone in LA, then traveling across the country to Tennessee, I've actually been able to watch games, which is actually uh still nice to do as
Yeah.
in
Sure.
driving across the country. Um But I thought when I was watching them, the first three things that really came to mind were the Cubs look good, or yeah, the Cubs look good. Oh no, the Cubs look bad. No, the Cubs are just ugly. They are horrendous. So those are
Yeah.
really the three I wanted to break down. So what's something good? What's something bad? What's something ugly that you've seen from the Cubs? I'll start off. So the good thing is, I think what most people, and you don't have to be a Cubs fan to know this is a good part of the Cubs. Wilson Contreras is good tonight,
Yeah.
as we recorded before I even came back down to my desk right here was Wilson Contreras hit his 100th home run, his career 100th, and it was a grand slam.
Boom.
He is a, I think he is a top 3, 4 catcher in baseball. He puts up numbers offensively, so he can be DH or can play the outfield at times. I think he's a great defensive catcher as well. He does well calling games. Wilson Contreras, to me, when I watch the Cubs, I think he is the definite good thing about the Cubs.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to argue against that. I think he's kind of the de facto captain of the team now that Rizzo's gone. Like they're not going to make a big deal, make a whole thing out of it. But I just think he's probably him and what Hayward are the longest tenured Cubs still, or in that conversation in that group of guys. My thing though is Hap's having a really good year.
Yeah,
He's still batting over 280, which for him, I mean, it seems like he has a really good month where he'll hit some home runs, his batting average will go up, and then the whole rest of the season he's struggling to stay over 220.
yeah, yeah.
I've always been a big Hap fan. I actually was at his major league debut on Mother's Day against the
Oh,
Cardinals in St. Louis.
cool.
So that was fun. But so I've always kind of just liked him, and the fact that he's, let's see, he is 3 for 3 today with an RBI and a run scored. So
Hmm.
he's hitting really well. But yeah, I mean he's my guy. I would have to say Haps off to a huge start for him, and hopefully that carries on for the rest of the guys.
Yeah, the outfield for the Cubs was a question coming into the year for sure, and I think will continue to be a question. But Ian Happ has been a great mainstay, and again, he moved from center field to left field this year, so even that he's playing well defensively as well. So yeah, he's playing good, but I do have to say, if you look at the other corner outfield spot, we were raving about Seiya Suzuki. His start of the year was unquestionably good,
Yeah,
but just as a rookie, just as an international player coming over to the pros, he hit a massive slump. and currently he went from hitting close to 400 to now he's hitting about 255, I believe, entering tonight. So he hit a massive offensive slump. He can still make plays in the corner, still make some good defensive plays, but his big thing was offense. And I mean, so if you want to say a bad thing about the Cubs, his slump was just at the same time as the Cubs slump. So it was bad to see. That's all for me. I mean,
Sure.
you could go with other options, but when I see him play, I'm like, bro, like figure something out. Make the adjustment. So it's been hard.
Yeah, I mean, and it's still really early, right?
Yeah.
Not really
Yeah.
early, but it's still plenty of. I mean, he's not even. He might be 28 years old, 27, right?
7.
27, 28. So like he's got plenty of time to figure it out. The fact that he is still batting 257, it's not great, but it's okay. There's a lot worse guys on major league rosters that are batting 257. I'm just saying. I mean, for this early in the year, this early in his career, I'll take 257. It's not bad. Here's my bad, right? And I have two parts, but I don't know which one's bad and which one we want to do for ugly.
Okay.
So my bad, I'll make the expectations that I had for Frank Schwindel.
Mm,
I don't know why.
yeah.
I was excited. I mean, obviously last year was an aberration. Like he was never going to do that again. He was
Yeah.
never going to hit 330 or whatever he batted, crazy numbers,
Yeah.
and do
Yeah.
all that. But it's still he's been off to a really rough start. So for that he's my bad player on the Cubs right now or at the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. I think I mean, I don't know if this was someone putting out some nonsense news or if they changed their mind, but I thought he was about to get sent down last week.
Yeah, no,
But
I heard the same
that,
thing. Yes,
but then all of a sudden he's starting. I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
it was something. So they were getting ready to send him down, and then I think we
yeah,
had somebody get COVID. And since we
mm,
put someone on the COVID list, they were just like, well, since he's already here, just
yeah,
might as well just hang out and not
yeah,
waste time
yeah.
driving down to.
Yeah, that's true. But in Schwindel's offense, he did get the game-winning RBI against the Diamondbacks on Sunday night, so that's something. But yeah, he's
Sure.
not been living up to half the expectation we thought. But I want to say this, and I'll just jump straight into it. The ugly for the Cubs has been their starting pitching.
Mm.
The starting pitching. So before the game tonight, I never watched pregame, but today for some reason I did. So when they were talking about the Cubs bullpen, did you know the Cubs bullpen is like top three in most of the major categories?
I
Top
did not know
three.
that.
Top three. So and if they're 13 and 20 and you're top three in bullpen,
Something
your
else has to be.
your starters suck.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's yeah, Justin Steele can have a good game. Kyle Hendricks had that one game where he went into the ninth inning and
Yeah.
almost threw a shutout. He can
Hmm.
do that. Guys can have good games, good moments, but the Cubs starters have just been horrible. I mean, even Marcus Stroman, Uh, Justin Steele has had horrible games. Hendricks, just like Hendricks does, he gives up home runs. He's had multiple bad games.
No.
They've only had like 6 quality starts or something this year as a whole staff. I mean, the ugly thing for me as I watch the Cubs is that can you just get to the fifth inning and it not be like give up 6 runs or 5 runs. If you can do that, the bullpen can hold. But it's just
Yeah.
been bad. It's been not bad. It's been ugly.
Yeah, no, it's been disappointing because you Miley's pitch of the day. He's got an ERA under 3, but I think he hasn't been up that long, right? Hasn't he just made a couple starts?
This is only his second start.
Right. Okay. So hopefully he gets into the groove and he's looking good, and then maybe the other guys start feeding off that. But you're absolutely right. It's been super disappointing, but it hasn't been as ugly as my thing, Jake, which I thought you were going to steal from me. I thought you were going to go with the same ugly. So this Cubs player has played in 31 games this year, has 117 plate appearances, and has struck out 50 times.
I actually don't know.
So it is Patrick Wisdom, who obviously last year came out of nowhere, hit a bunch of home runs for us. He was looking like a real deal. People liked him. He ended up batting 231 on the year, struck out 153 times in 375 at bats. So he is right on pace to continue. Probably, I mean, he's on a higher pace to strike out more, but
Yeah.
that is an insane number of strikeouts. So to know that you're either going to strike out or get out in some other way, because he's only batting like 200 this year. What is he batting?
No, he
224.
is no, he's having a decent well,
Not with 50
man, I
strikeouts,
thought
bro.
yeah, so I think he's gonna entering to I don't know. As of tonight, after tonight so far, he has a 216 average. I did
Nice.
not know it was that low.
So there you go. So
Yeah,
again, anybody who realistically looked at the Cubs roster knew that a guy like Patrick Wisdom isn't a guy that you build your team around.
right,
He was expected to be just like, hey, he's a fill-in guy until the Cubs figure it out, get these minor leaguers
right.
turned over and kind of. But he's not even looking like he can manage that. If you're gonna bat over 200 and strike out literally half the times you're at bat,
Yeah.
someone else can do your job. You can find someone else to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
but
that's
Jules,
my
you
ugly.
all
And
you you also know that in today's game, strikeouts aren't seen as like the worst thing.
yeah, no, that's true.
I don't agree with that at all. But
Yeah.
like it's like if you ground out or you strike out, it's an out. So I don't agree, but that so either way, but it's still the batting average between 216. He so far he has 6 home runs, 17 RBIs. Um, yeah. So I guess both of the breakout stars of the second half of last year, Wisdom and Schwindel, are you bad and ugly?
They're on my poop list. They're on my poop
Mm,
list. I mean, realistically, dude, so this is kind of how you have to see it, and this is how I look at like when I'm feeling bad about the Bulls or the Bears or something.
yeah,
I
yeah.
look at them and I'm like, could this guy? How many other rosters in the NFL would this guy be on? How many
Mm,
other rosters in the NFL would, or in other rosters in the NBA would this guy be on?
yeah.
Like realistically, is Patrick Wisdom starting for any other team in Major League Baseball at third base? I mean, it's probably less than 3.
No, no. I mean, you can easily say he would be starting for any of the any of the teams that are below the Cubs. So
Yeah,
even
so
like so yeah, I mean
you
we'll
get my
get
point.
into
Yeah.
well yeah, but the bad teams, but any team that's better than the Cubs, I mean, yeah, that's it's hard.
So I mean, yeah. So and I mean, and again, your expectations coming into the season is knowing Schwindel and Wisdom aren't the saviors of your franchise, but you still expect them to do better than what they're doing. So yeah, I think rightfully
Right.
so, the bad and the ugly for those two guys until they can turn it around.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how to how to process their lack of production. If it's just, yeah, if it's too high of expectations, or if it's the over optimism of Cubs fans, or rooting for guys who are like 30-year-old rookies, stuff like that. I don't know, but it's definitely hard.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is us looking at the small sample size we got last year
Yeah,
and thinking, hey, they could probably do this again. And then you
yeah,
realize, like you said, if they had it all figured out, they wouldn't be 30 years old making their major league debuts on bad teams. You know, and I guess
yeah,
Wisdom
sure.
had a cup of coffee with the Rangers and he played with the Cardinals for a little bit too. And
Yeah, sure.
Schwindel was on Kansas City, but like, you know what
Yeah,
I mean? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
their first significant playing time, I should say.
yeah. No, you're right.
So that's all.
It's it's something to look forward to. And we actually just talked about the power rankings. Sorry, I'm gonna slur. Just a part of having a brain injury. You're gonna slur sometimes. But the power rankings for this week just came out. As they always do Mondays, which is kind of helpful for us.
Yes,
But
yeah.
the Cubs, I think it was about a month and a half ago, the Cubs were ranked 21st. Now, in in what direction do you think the Cubs? Do you think they moved up in the power rankings, or do you think they moved down?
I cannot possibly believe that they moved up, going 5-9 in their last
Yeah,
15 games or whatever. So I'm going to say that they moved down. I'm going to say that they're in, because I didn't look at this beforehand. So this is a genuine guess
yeah,
off the top of my head. I'm going to say they are 24th right now.
close 22.
Okay, so they moved
Yeah,
down, but not a precipitous fall.
as I think we mentioned last time we talked about the Cubs and the rankings, every team below them is just bad. So
Yeah,
they are the worst okay team.
yeah, yeah.
Or another way is they are the best bad team.
Best bad team.
So yeah.
I mean, it's a
So
glass half full, glass half empty kind of feel.
right,
However you're
right.
feeling, you know.
Yeah, and we talked like the Cubs enough. Why don't we talk about the top five in the rankings this week?
Let's do it.
So I'll read them off and then I'll ask you a couple questions. So number one, or I'll go 5-1 this
5 to
time.
1.
So number five is the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Do we want to go list first, or you want me to go one at a time?
Yeah, this is what will happen as I'll list them and then I'll ask you a couple of questions based on that. So number
Okay.
five, LA Angels. Number four, Houston Astros. Number three, New York Mets. Number two, LA Dodgers. And the new number one team in the power rankings this week, New York Yankees. So Ben, first reaction from there. I want to hear this. Of those five teams, I'll ask this. Of those five teams, who are you most surprised to see in that top five?
I'll tell you who I'm most disappointed in not seeing. That's the Texas Rangers.
Okay,
Um,
that's not. We're not. We're
no.
not.
So
We're
honestly,
not
genuinely though, because
throwing it.
it's the same division.
Okay.
I would say the Angels, because I don't think any of us really had super high expectations. Because up to this point, they made the playoffs once in Mike Trout's career, I think. And I think they lost in the first round.
Zero.
Okay, zero
Zero.
times. So this is what I'm saying. So it's not like that. It's not unprecedented. It is unprecedented that
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
actually playing well, competing. Syndergaard's been healthy, Trout stayed healthy, Otani's been healthy. You know what I mean? So they're riding the wave. Um, and so that's the most surprising to me. And then the other one would be again in the same division is I didn't think the Astros would be as good as they are, but it just seems like they're just one of these teams that no matter who you put up, they're just good. They're just good.
Well,
They're just good.
if you if you think about it, the Astros have pretty much brought back the same roster outside of Korea. I mean, pretty much. And so,
Yeah,
I mean, that's
and the guy
pretty
they have
good.
playing shortstop now is pretty damn good. I think he's going
Yeah,
to be pretty good. So
I mean, he's a rookie. He's put up good numbers. I mean, for a rookie, he's playing well. And again, if he's the worst player on that great team, that's not bad. But
yeah,
uh
absolutely.
but no, I do think I'm most surprised about the Angels so far this year. They are still below the Astros in their same division, but the fact they've made it this far into the year is good. It's
Yeah,
a good sign. So I was looking at this, and the Angels starting rotation. So the Angels have historically had a bad rotation, bad bullpen. Pitching is always the issue. Last year, the MLB draft, the Angels only drafted pitchers because they were so concerned. The starting rotation for the Angels is up there. It's top five in the league, easy.
really good.
So
Yeah,
you have Otani, you have Syndergaard, you have Sandoval, who has an under two ERA. You actually have at your number four, Lorenzen, who has an under two ERA this year. And then you have the guy who just threw a no hitter in his 11th career start in Reed
pretty good.
Detmers, and everyone believes he's going to be great. Point being is, I think they actually have a chance of continuing. Always the big caveat. If they stay healthy, but it doesn't matter. I'm saying if they continue with this pace, with this roster, and they have that production from their pitchers, they can make it. But Ben, I did want to ask you this from those five. So again, Angels at five, Astros at four, Mets at three, Dodgers at two, Yankees at one. I want to ask you this: the Angels are the most surprising, but I'll ask you this question: of those five teams, who is a pretender? Who is not really a top five team? Who is at the end of the year is not going to be a top five team?
Can the answer also be the Angels?
It, you know what? It can
Because
be.
health, like, dude, health is going to be the biggest thing for that team.
Yeah,
Like, you have the best player in baseball. You have the best two-way player maybe ever, and you have a guy in Thor who, when healthy, is electric.
yeah.
But that when healthy is very, very rare. But I think so. Not to poop on their parade because I just picked them in the last thing to be the most surprising. I'm gonna say the Mets are gonna Met at some point.
Oh, no way, bro.
Yeah, I picked the Braves in that division.
No way.
I don't remember who I picked in the AL East. Did we all go Blue Jays?
No, I think Dan picked the Yankees.
Okay, so Dan sucks. But
Well, of course.
uh, no, so I would say the Mets at some point are going to be the Mets and are
Nah.
going to uh, poop the bed.
Oh no, bro. I got the Mets and the Dodgers going seven in the NLCS. I don't know who's coming out, but I think the Mets are
We're
for
all
real.
aboard,
It's,
huh?
again, especially since they don't have DeGrom right now, and they are top three without DeGrom, arguably the best pitcher in baseball right now, or arguably the best pitcher stuff wise with Clayton Kershaw in that decade. So, and they're top three. I think the Mets are good.
Dude, so I'm
So
just noticing in
yeah.
like my camera, looks like my nose is bright red, like I've been drinking all day. Hester and I went to the beach this afternoon, so just so everyone
All
knows.
right.
All right, I got a little
Right.
sun, got a little tanny tan.
If you guys are watching or if you guys are listening, I want you to go on YouTube and check out that red nose looking like Rudolph over there.
Rudolph Valentino. Dude, the
I
Cubs are
mean,
gonna the Cubs are gonna blow this.
what's
Right.
score right now?
No,
Just
some dude named Michael Rucker is pitching, who I don't even know who that is. but he's given up 2 hits in the top of the 8th. So we're still up 9-0. So
All
realistically,
right,
we're not going to lose it.
bro,
I'm just
bro,
being
come,
dramatic. This guy has
come,
thrown 1,000 balls. 1,000 balls.
1,000.
Maybe
Not,
2,000.
not an overreaction. 1,000 balls.
I'm being
All right,
I'm being being realistic. Go ahead.
all right. You know what? I'm gonna answer that same question, but I'm gonna ask you a question about the White Sox game you went to because
Oh
we
sure.
have to talk about that. So,
Yeah.
who's the pretender of those top five teams? I believe of those teams. Again, if I'm not gonna, crap all over the Angels, the same as you, I'm gonna have to say the Yankees. I'm I
Wow.
know I know I'm getting there. I know Aaron Judge is having an MVP year.
Crushing
Stanton
it.
is great. I mean, across the board, they're playing well. They're pitching well. Nestor Cortez is, a phenom. He's
Out of
a
nowhere, dude. Out of
social
nowhere.
media
So great.
social media darling. I
So
mean,
great.
he's anyway. So, but I have to say, if the Yankees, everyone says the Mets are gonna Met. The Yankees, the last couple of years, have really screwed up at the end, like really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they made the playoffs last year, but lost in the wild card game to the Red Sox, who this year are horrible.
Atrocious.
They, again, I think the Yankees had a great 11 game or like 11 or something game win streak, but I'm still gonna say of those five teams, and if I'm not gonna shit all over the Angels right now,
Shit
the
on him.
Yankees the Yankees are like I think a top 10 team, top 15, top 10 I'd say, but I don't think they're top 5, let alone number 1. I feel like that's just stupid. Like I know it's right now,
Yeah, I was gonna
but
say let's. I guess we'll check back next time. Next week by the
yeah,
time these come out again.
yeah,
Baseball's weird like that, where Yankees could also lose 8 games in a row, and
right,
they're
right.
7th in the power rankings next week. But
Right. So, you know what? A team that actually a lot of people picked to win the AL this year
including all
is
four
the
of us.
is the is the White Sox. You went to a White Sox team, and before we
Yes,
actually talk about the White Sox, you went to a White Sox game. Were you at the White Sox game that they blew that lead?
I was. I
You
was.
were there?
So here's the best part, right? So we get there, and uh,
Let's set the scene. What was the score of the White Sox Guardians game in the ninth inning?
so here's I'll get there in a second. So we get
Okay.
there. It was $5 tickets because it was supposed to be for
Mm,
Cinco de Mayo, but the Sox
of
were
course.
away, right? So they ran
Right.
their Cinco de Mayo promotion last Monday,
Okay.
and so we bought the tickets, right? They were supposed to be up in the nosebleeds, but the Sox Stadium, you can pretty much just walk the concourse. Like you
Yeah.
don't really have to stop, and they have like these rails where you can like drink and eat your food and watch the game kind of in the
Yeah.
outfield. So me, Drew, Dave, and Viviana went to the game, and Sox are, obviously they're home, so they're pitching. It's the bottom of the first. The Guardians have a couple guys on base, hit a line drive right at Gavin Sheets out in
Yeah.
right field.
Yes. Yes.
Dude, I mean, a routine fly ball biffs it, right? Run comes in and scores, and everybody in the entire arena is booing Gavin Sheets like you wouldn't believe, right?
I don't know. Did you hear what the broadcaster said when Gavin Sheets made that air?
Like you got to be shitting me, right? Is it something
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You gotta be shitting me. All right.
yeah,
So
dude.
anyway,
I mean,
go
it's
ahead.
it was a really routine like, and I get he's a first baseman by nature, so you
Yeah.
don't really, but whatever, dude. You've played enough baseball in your life,
Right.
you should
Right.
know how to catch a line drive. But anyway, so
Go
he
ahead.
comes up in the bottom of the first, hits a grand slam. So then immediately he went from the most hated man in the entire stadium to the
Yeah.
most loved
Yeah.
person in the entire stadium, right? So
Right.
it's about the seventh, eighth inning. At this point, we all had drank, and like people had to get home because there was work. It was a weeknight and stuff
Right.
like that. So we
Right.
left the
Right.
game. We left the game,
Oh
and the Sox were
no.
up 8-1. Okay, so Drew goes, we're gonna go get dinner. So we go get dinner. By the time we sit down and order our food, Josh Naylor had hit the 3-run home run to tie it, or however, I don't even remember how it even broke down. But Naylor hits a 3-run home run, and then by the time we finished eating, the Sox had lost.
You left the game though.
Yeah, I don't care. It was a White Sox game that I spent $5 on. I wouldn't have left a Cubs game, but a White Sox game I don't mind leaving.
All I'm saying is stay to the end. That's all I'm saying, bro. Because you know what? Cardinals fans could have left the game, but Sunday night they saw Albert Pujols pitch in the ninth inning when they
True.
were up like 13 runs. So all I'm saying is just stay next
Yeah.
time.
Look, it's just I was outvoted. It was majority rules.
All right, that's
But
fair.
anyways,
That's
dude,
fair.
we had a really good time. It was a lot of fun. I went and my wife and I did a little thrift shopping,
Ooh,
and
Macklemore, what's up?
yeah, right. I was popping them tags.
Mm,
And then at the thrift store, they had a Mark Burley jersey for $15 in my size. So
cool.
I was like,
Sure,
well, absolutely buying this. So I bought it,
sure.
and that's what I was wearing at the game. That I was so rudely assaulted for on social media,
Oh,
cyberbullied by the rest of you.
just and again, if you're listening or watching this, if I get permission from the other people in the photo, I'm posting that photo of you in that
Of
White
course you
Sox
can.
jersey because as soon as I saw that, the first word that came to mind was forgive me, but the first word that came to mind was traitor
Yeah, yeah, that's
because
fair.
we talked anyway. So, um, yeah. So you all of a sudden, quote unquote, buying this cheap jersey.
Burley jersey for
No
15
way,
bucks, bro. It
no
was a
way.
good deal. So
Yeah,
let me ask you this
I'm
though.
sure you had that saved in your closet just in
Yeah,
case.
just in case I went to the Sox game. So let me
Yeah.
ask you this, because McNeil and I talked about this at the game, right? He says this is his biggest sports pet peeve, and I want to know your opinion on it.
Okay.
You go to a game, let's say you're at a Cubs White Sox game. Somebody walks in with like a San Francisco Giants jersey.
Mm,
What's your stance on that? He hates it. He goes, you shouldn't be allowed to wear a jersey that isn't involved in the two teams playing. Look, no, because
all
we're at the
right.
Sox game and this guy walks in, Jake. He had a Dodgers like old school catcher's helmet, right? Like
Okay.
without the flaps on the ears.
All
Oh,
right.
giant. He had a giant like jersey, giant sombrero,
Okay.
blue knee high socks. Dude, this
Okay.
guy was in it. But I'm like, that's dedication.
That's different. You asked me a question and then you said this guy dressed up as a gladiator. All right.
Essentially, yeah.
So to the first question, I I believe it has a lot to do with motive. So I'm getting a little deep on this, but
Okay, okay.
if the person was, someone from out of town or, you know, what something like that, or I don't know, like genuinely a Giants fan or something, and they went to a game and they just wore it because that's the baseball thing. Think that's fine. But if the person, their motivation is to be like, you know what, like I'm showing up to this game and screw them. I'm gonna wear my like. All right, that's stupid. Like, take
So
it off.
going to a Cubs Padres game in a Cardinals jersey, just to stick it to the Cubs, you mean? Or just to be like an
Yeah,
instigator at
yeah.
the
Like, all
yeah,
right,
I get
that's
that.
stupid. But if you're like, when I was in LA, I had the chance to go to an Angels game. We chose not to. I said we because it was team decision, but like I went there and I have Cubs hats. I don't wear hats of teams I don't support.
Sure.
Um, so if you're watching this, I only wear like Cubs, Blue Jays, Braves, kind of simple on that. Anyway, so if I was going to an Angels game and I just wore like this hat, uh, I'm not trying to start some. It's just like I brought it with me.
Sure.
But like if I'm bringing this hat and they're playing like yeah the Cardinals or the Brewers, like why am I wearing it? But
Right. Yeah. It's just instigating at that point. Yeah.
yeah, but the second thing you said about someone dressing up like a gladiator or like a Raiders fan, really,
Essentially. Yeah.
all right, that you shouldn't be allowed in. I don't feel like you should be allowed in like to any arena, even if it's your team, because you look insane and stop it, go away. But but if especially if it's not the team's playing, like bro, like calm down, go home, like
Yeah.
do something else. So those are two separate things.
All right. So let me ask you. Let me ask you this then. Um, oh man. Never mind. You're gonna have to cut that. I don't remember what I was gonna say. It
All
was
right,
gonna
well,
be. It was gonna be a baseball like question about stadiums. Oh yeah. Do you are you a fan of adults bringing gloves to stadiums to catch balls? At what age? Okay, so here's my thing. At what age is it no longer acceptable to bring a glove to the game?
all
Dude, you can't be 35 rocking
right.
up with a glove if you don't have kids there, maybe, or
I think again, this is someone who like we played baseball growing up into like high school or whatever. But I would say this is that if I was in high school and I brought my glove, for some reason I'd be like, why am I doing this? Like
yeah,
I'm 15 years old, like at that time. Like, what am I doing? Like just one, the chances are so small. And then two, I can if I'm gonna catch a ball, I'll just catch it or run for it. So I would say like I've never really thought about it too much, but I'd say like high school,
yeah,
it's probably safe.
dude. Because then at that age too, remember, I mean, put yourself in 15-year-old Jake. 15-year-old
Mm,
Ben
Not with
was
that.
not responsible enough to take care of 15-year-old Ben, let alone a glove that was expensive for my not so very rich family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I would
Right.
have gotten my ass beat if I lost a glove. They're like, all right, well then now you just don't have a glove. So
Yeah.
that's just what it is. You better borrow someone else's or whatever because you're not getting a new one.
Well, I mean, and yeah, also, sorry. Also, for me, I was a catcher, so I'm not bringing a catcher's glove with me.
You got to bring the chest protector and you got to bring the whole
Yeah.
thing. Bring the leg straps just in case, dude. In case the Cubs need an emergency catcher, they can call
Yeah.
15-year-old Jake out of the
I
stand.
would, I would, all right, you know what? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, you're fine. We're just
I was,
bullshitting. I'm just
I was just gonna say, even at that age, I feel like I would just be afraid to catch a fastball,
yeah,
let
dude.
alone some of this nasty stuff. Anyway, um, but no, I would say glove. I would say like 15 because you should be comfortable around 15, 16 to like not bring one. I think.
So you remember the year that we coached Dallas, myself, Dan, and Dave. We
Yeah.
coached a team of people my sister's age, and there was this kid on the team. His name was Pierre. Right? Don't remember anything else about the kid at all, except he would drive in from the city, so he was late to every game. And then anytime a fly ball was hit, because you couldn't like he wasn't skilled enough that you're going to stick him in the infield, right?
All right.
So he was
All right.
definitely like, all right, this kid has to play X amount of innings, stick him in right field or
Yeah.
wherever the least danger spot would
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Dude, but he would try to run up on the ball, glove in hand, take his hat off and would try catching it with his hat. I was like, fam, you have
Bro.
to, yeah, like you have to be kidding me. You have the glove. That's what it's for. It's not decoration. You know what I mean? Like that's
I
protect
don't know.
yourself, catch the ball. That was a
Yeah.
fun
I-
team. Then one day if we get Dave on and Dallas is on, we'll just go through stories. I mean, we have so many funny stories from that year, but it was a lot of fun.
yeah, that image of the kid sticking out his hat. I mean, I mean, it's not the worst thing I've seen from kids, but it's not great.
It's not great,
But
no.
I mean, he was out there.
Yeah, he was playing. He was playing.
Right. So it's not. I mean, give him credit on that. So
Exactly.
you you know what? We were gonna talk about the players of the week. I will just briefly mention them. The AL player of the week was Reed Detmers, who threw a no hitter, and again, and he's only his 11th career start. He's 22 years old, so hit it a good week. You can say that. But the NL player of the week is Bryce Harper. Now, unlike Reed Detmers, Bryce Harper's elbow is completely shot, so he's only a DH. But he put up great numbers this week. He hit I think it was like 14 for 23 or 14 for 20 something. He hit a bunch of home runs. Again, this is someone who has like a torn ligament in his elbow or something stupid. So
Right.
I'll just mention that, but let's actually move to our third base topic, which is take your pick. These are questions where I ask you, pick either the first option or the second option. Sometimes it's yes or no or whatever, but this time it'll be this or this. Take your pick, which one.
This or
So,
that. Let's do it.
so first one is this past week. Actually, in that Reed Detmers no hitter, the Tampa they were facing the Rays, and the Rays put out Brett Phillips to pitch, a position player to pitch. Now Anthony Rendon, who's a righty, hit lefty, switched over like Javi Baez, but unlike Javi Baez, Rendon hit a home run
Was actually
as
successful. Yeah.
as a lefty. So that was the first one. So would you rather hit a home run opposite opposite of what your natural batting is, or would you rather hit a home run off Albert Pujols? Because two people did, but which one would you rather do? Hit
So
one opposite hand or off Pujols?
I'm gonna say opposite hand. I'm gonna tell you
Hmm.
why. Because
Yeah,
I'm sure you remember growing up, Dan and I both fancied ourselves as a bit of switch hitters. We would always just kind of mess
a
around with it.
little
So I
bit.
always liked it. Yeah, yeah, it was always kind of my thing. I've noticed as I've grown up, like I do things more with my left-handed stuff, just
Hmm.
just by doing stuff. And my right eye is stronger than my left eye, which is obviously if you're batting left-handed, you get to see it a little bit easier, a little bit more clear.
Yeah.
So I think I might have been born a natural lefty. And my dad was just like, I don't have any lefty gloves and I don't know how to throw lefty.
Right.
So you're right handed. Um,
Hmm.
but so, yeah, so my thing would and I've always loved switch hitters. So hitting a home run on the opposite side would be super dope.
Yeah, I could not agree less with you.
Wow. Wow.
Hitting a home run off a guy who's hit almost 700 home runs in his first time pitching. I mean, Evan Longoria, third baseman for the Giants, just hit a single off Pujols and wanted to keep the baseball.
Hmm.
Hitting a home run off Pujols, bro, that's something you tell your kids, your grandkids can even know about that. I feel like that would be
Yeah, but I mean,
something people know.
at the same time, it's like, okay, cool, but he's not a pitcher.
Yeah, but either is the guy that Rendon. I
Well,
know I
sure.
didn't ask
Okay.
that part.
Okay. So that I mean that would change it. That would change it. So if it's
Yeah,
like hit a meaningless home run where you're just messing around
yeah,
versus hitting a home run off of a Hall of Famer at a different position, or, at yeah. So
yeah.
it would probably be Pujols. You're right. Yeah. That would be more fun.
Maybe that was unfair to put that in there.
I'm
So
just saying. I'm just
could
saying.
have changed the question a little bit. All
Hey,
right,
baby,
so
we live
it's
and we learn. We live and we learn.
yeah. So the second one is this again. Reed Detmers threw a no hitter, and again in his 11th career start, which is huge.
Mm.
Would you rather throw a no hitter at any point in your career, or would you like to be the pitcher? So something that happened again in that same game that Pujols pitched, Adam Wainwright got his 203rd win, but it was also with the same catcher every single game,
Yeah.
Yadier Molina. So they got their 203rd career win together as a battery. That's the most in history. Would you rather throw a no hitter, I would say that early in your career, or be the pitcher who has the most wins with their catcher?
So here's a hot take for you, and I don't know if
Okay,
we've talked about this before, but we might have.
good.
I think no hitters are stupid.
Mm,
So I am very in the not stupid. That's unfair. They're a win. I mean, that's it. That's all. I mean, at the end of the day, there's so many of them nowadays.
yeah.
Dude, a team threw a no hitter and lost.
You know what? We'll talk about that one next.
So that's what I'm just saying. Like, you can't throw a no hitter, lose a game, and it in my brain be meaningful. Like a perfect game, that means you absolutely are winning that game because the other guys aren't even getting on base that you could
Right,
lose. You know what I mean?
right,
So like,
right.
perfect game is different. Perfect game is something special. A no hitter, AJ Burnett could throw like 14 walks, or Edwin Jackson, I think, walked like 10 guys in a no hitter. And it's like the fact that Edwin Jackson even has a no hitter. Like, what are we talking about? It's just so I'm very
Yeah.
anti no hitter. So the
All
fact that
right,
I'm
all right.
anti
I'm
no
sorry.
hitter, I
I'm
would
sorry.
go. The Cubs did win 9-0, but I would go with that connection with the battery because that means
Yeah,
A, longevity. That means B, you probably have a great relationship with that guy. He is your
yeah,
lifelong friend, and that means that guy's had longevity in the league too. So you guys are both paid. You're going to retire by 40 and live the rest of your life with fat checks. So
yeah.
I'm taking option two on that one. What about you?
Um, the reason why I would say the same thing is simply for the it's a record.
Hmm.
As you said, the no hitter is great. I think to me it's great. It's still something. I mean, it's not the best thing, but it's still great. But the record of having that, I think, is something that again you get put down in the book for, again, as you said, the relationship, longevity, all that stuff. But a record is a record,
Yeah,
and I feel like that's something you can take away. So I'd say that. But you mentioned a second ago no hitter. The Reds threw a combined no hitter, or really, I mean, it was a no hitter, but I'm trying to think of how to phrase. Either way, it was they gave up no hits, but they lost the game. So, Ben, do you want to celebrate the fact that Pirates found a way to win despite not getting hit, or do you just want to say the Reds suck? Which
yeah.
one?
The Reds suck, and the Pirates suck. You shouldn't you shouldn't congratulate a team for only getting one run and getting no hit under any circumstance, right? I don't care how meaningless I just said it was. You shouldn't do it. Secondly, the Red. Go ahead, jump in anytime.
No, I'm just saying the fact they found a way to win despite. I mean, they did walk. They got walks. They got on base, and that was enough to win. That's
Sack flies and
something.
stuff. Yeah, fine,
No, I mean it
fine.
was in the in the eighth inning. Hunter Green through. He had 118 pitches. They took him out. He walked two batters. The reliever walked a batter, and then the next batter hit a ball to the second baseman. He made an error that would have turned a double play, but didn't.
Mm.
And then a runner scored from a walk. So it was still an earned run.
Sure. Yeah. Still,
But
yeah.
but the Reds, I mean, the Reds do suck. Let's just
Dude,
get
they
that out the way.
lost. They
They
lost.
they lost on a no hitter, but it's not the first time it's happened.
Which is even worse. Because shame on those teams too. I don't care who it was. You could say it's the 27 Murderers Row Yankees, and I'd be like, you guys suck. That game, you suck.
I mean, that's fair. Last time it happened was in 2008, but there have only been 6 times in over 120 years. So
That's a good long while.
it's not great. It's not a great thing
That's
to have in your on your record. But
not
I'm gonna put you in someone else's shoes. Again, in your shoes, the Reds suck. I
that's
mean,
tough.
in everyone's shoes, the Reds suck. In
It should be.
The Reds players know the Reds suck.
Mm.
But I'm gonna put you in someone else's shoes. All right, so I just said my pretender team is the Yankees being number one, but a main reason why they're playing so well is Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is leading in home runs. He's up there in RBIs. He's hitting for average. He's doing well this year. In the offseason, he had a chance of signing a big extension. It was over $30 million a year. It wasn't as much or as long as he wanted, so he turned it down. But Ben, if you're in Aaron Judge's shoes right now,
He's probably got big ass shoes.
oh bro, I mean, yes.
Size 14s, probably.
Watching or listening, just Google Aaron Judge, and then I wouldn't say Aaron Judge's feet. Don't Google that. Don't be that guy.
Your
But
algorithm's going to be all jacked up.
yeah, I mean, don't be on a feet finding mission. But Aaron Judge, if you were in his shoes, would you want to resign with the Yankees, or would you want to walk away and test your talent somewhere else?
So it's a great question. He's going to get paid either way. Wherever he
Right,
goes, he's going to get paid. So
right,
for him, the question I think comes, and for him, meaning me as Aaron Judge in this
right.
situation, the money I know is coming either way. So now I have an option. I think it was a great idea for him to wait because now he's showing up and he's showing out. If he
Yeah.
continues at this pace, how much extra money did he just make himself?
Oh,
A.
a lot.
B, by the end of next year, you could kind of see where you are. Like the
Yeah,
Yankees window is about as big as our little square here, right? Like they have,
maybe.
right. So this is what I'm saying. So he's got to figure out, is it time to crap or get off the pot? You know what I mean? Like, am I going to stick around here and we have a chance to win a World Series? Am I going to take my talent somewhere else? And because you're going to, like I said, he's going to get paid regardless. He can stay in New York
Right.
and live in New York and be under that constant Yankee scrutiny and all that stuff. He can go play in Kansas City. I don't know him personally. He's not going to get the money in Kansas City, but I'm just saying
Right.
he can go anywhere. Every single major league team would take him. So
Yeah.
if you're not interested or if you know the money's there, it's not a concern. I think this year, the second half of the season, in particular, like I guess the last 2/3 of the season are really going to be the indicator if the Yankees are for real and he's got a chance to win Super Bowls, World Series in New York, or
Yeah.
if he doesn't, then does he go and take it somewhere else or try something else, or at least explore the market? I mean, he could always re-sign with the Yankees, but
Yeah.
I mean, just see what you're worth out on the open market somewhere.
Yeah. You know, again, I asked you on that. So would you test the open market, or would you want to resign?
I would
Which
test the
one
open
would
market.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, I would
All
test
right.
the open market just to see what you're worth, just to see what you're worth to other people because the Yankees still want you back anyways, and whatever they're going to offer is going to be there. So
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna make a "if it were me" type thing.
There you go.
So on this, I am not resigning with the Yankees because that crap deal they tried to give me is the price is gonna go up to 40 million a year. And I'm gonna want, if I'm Aaron Judge, even more years. He's 30 years old. Let's remind ourselves he's 30. So if I'm him, he's
30 with
younger
a
than
history of injuries. So that's the
yes.
other thing.
Yes, but he's also still very good. Let's
Mhm.
also remind. So again, if I'm him, I'm leaving the Yankees because that offer is just like they don't really value me that
It's
much.
disrespectful, yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm doing, if I'm Aaron Judge, is I'm being like, I- I'm gonna test the open market and look for one team to give me a lot of money, and that is the Angels.
Sure.
And if it's for one reason, if I'm Aaron Judge, he's from Fresno, California. I don't know if you know Fresno, it's not a beautiful part of California, but he is going to be mega rich in the ability to live in Anaheim or really anywhere in California, probably next to Trout and
You're gonna need to be mega rich if
yep.
you're living in California.
I mean, if you want to be living it up, yes. Uh, but Aaron Judge, wanting to play with possibly Shohei, and again, he's up to resign soon. So Shohei and Trout, and again, their top five team as of right now. If the Angels can put up money for me, I can go home. I can make money. I can compete. Why not? I
So
can play next to my Trout.
then the other thing you have to ask yourself is, what about that other team in LA?
They're they don't have space.
Oh, they'll find space.
I mean
They could figure some
they,
stuff out. You
they
figure
have too
Justin
many.
Turner's going to be off the book soon. They'll make
Yeah,
some moves. They'll figure it out.
yeah. I mean, and you know, the Dodgers always just sign whoever beats them. They sign the best player. They've done it for years. So it can happen. But
Hmm.
if I'm Aaron Judge, personally, if I'm Aaron Judge, I'm like, I want to go to the Angels, play next to Mike Trout. I can play with Shohei. I can live in it can be beautiful weather year round. I'm from there. My family's there. Why not? I'm going there. And you know what? I'm going to ask you a Cubs question on this, and this will be a last one.
Deal.
Okay. Would you, if you were, if you are the Cubs, if you are Jed Hoyer, would you re-sign Contreras no matter what it takes, or would you try to sign two free agents, two great free agents
Oh, two great free
in the
agents.
off season?
Two great free. I mean, realistically, I would try to trade Wilson,
Mm,
get some prospects back, see what you can get that way. Because the Cubs aren't going to win now. Cubs aren't winning anything right now. So you might as well stock up on what you can while you
yeah,
can. But
yeah.
I think if the options are between keep him or trade him, or keep him or sign two people in his place, you sign two people in his place. If they're top market free agents, are we saying they're free agents on
I'm,
his
I'm,
level?
I'm,
Like, let's just
I'm,
say he.
how about this? There are two free agents that either are equal to one Contreras output or like a little better. Like they have multiple positions filled. Let's say Schwindel, as you said, and Wisdom aren't paying off. They sign a good first baseman, a good third baseman
Yeah, I would take
that
that.
you would take two
Two over
or
one. Yeah,
two of
yeah.
one. So where you're wrong, the Cubs have not. You know what? If I'm Jed Hoyer, I'm doing that. But if I and Jake
They asked Jake
Hoyer,
Gonzalez.
I'm signing. Can we just keep one guy? Can we just keep one guy around? Javi, Chris Bryant, Rizzo. I mean, John Lester, they even let walk. Schwarber. Can we just keep
Hey, we got Jason
one?
Hayward,
He's
Kyle
not even
Hendricks.
starting.
No, I know. Kyle
All
Hendricks
right,
is bad too.
so I'm saying, can we just keep one guy? And he again, he won't cost a lot of money. He'll cost money, but can we just keep one? If I'm Jed Hoyer, I mean, like, Cubs fans, I hear you. I know we traded away a lot of people. We're going to keep this guy. We believe this guy is going to be the face for years. That's just me. I think they will do what you're saying. But me, I'm definitely signing Contreras for as long as he wants, or not as long as he wants, but a
Please,
decent amount.
I'm looking directly into the camera. Please, Chicago Cubs, if you're listening, bring back Contreras just for Jake, just to make him
Just
feel better. Come on, do the right
so
thing. Keep
nice.
one guy,
That's so nice.
just one guy.
Oh man, I don't think so. I don't think they'll do it. But you know what? I'm gonna send that clip to someone. I'm
There
gonna
you go.
send it.
Put it on
All right.
TikTok.
So here we go. We're actually going to hit home plate right now, and we're going to have our hometown take of the week. And Ben, why don't you tell me your take of the week for Chicago sports team? Let's make it not about the Cubs, because we've talked about them for a while. What's your take of the week for any other Chicago sports team?
I mean, they're all so great right now.
Ugh.
Um, Tell you what, the Bears are in OTAs, maybe. So they're meeting each other and they're working out. I know they signed. I think they signed their first round pick, or their second round pick, the cornerback. Um, that's about it. Right now, we're just in full baseball mode. So it's hard. I guess we could talk about the White Sox. They're ass. They've been a huge disappointment this year. As
Yeah.
you and I talked about earlier. Um, but here, a little bit. I'm just gonna go rogue on this. Um, so this Thursday, this is 30 podcast. My podcast with Dave will be coming
Okay.
back. We're going to be recording together for the first time in a while on
Yeah.
Thursday. So
Yeah.
very excited about that. Um, and we have a really fun quiz show planned for a couple weeks from now. That Viviana, Drew, and Dave are going to be the participants, and I'm going to ask them before the game starts. So they have to pick a box, right, a mystery box, and inside
Yeah.
the box there is a punishment that they have to do every time that they get a question wrong,
Mm.
and that's what it's going to be. And then we'll just alternate weeks on who's going to be host, so that I also get included in stuff as well.
And where can people find that?
So it's going to be on This Is 30 podcast. It's on Facebook for right now, and then once we actually record, we'll put it up on a YouTube page, and then I will give Jake the tag, and I'm sure he can add it with my stuff here at the bottom. So yeah, so that's be on the lookout for that. That's really exciting, and I have some other ideas for different stuff I want to do coming up. Shortly. So once that all comes into place, I'll let you guys know, and then let obviously Jake know, and then we'll talk about everything and how it goes. But yeah, so there's a lot of fun stuff coming out. So that was my thing. I went
Cool.
a little rogue. Chicago sports
Yeah.
sucks right now, so
Yeah. A little bit. A little bit. All right. So I've gotten crap from day one whenever I do mention it, but I'm going to on occasion. But the Chicago Red Stars, the NWSL women's professional soccer team, the Red Stars, are 1-1 so far in this season. Just started. They haven't even had their home opener yet. You know what? As I'm literally saying that as that came out of my mouth, it's like I'm pretty sure they did. All right, so uh Yeah, they already had it. I don't know what I'm saying, but they won their home opener. They beat the Louisville Racing uh, Football Club. They beat them 2-1. But then this past weekend they played the expansion team San Diego Wave. They lost that game 2-1. But the big thing for me is my favorite player is Mal Pugh. She is a great player.
Where's she from?
She's from Colorado.
Oh, the way you said her name, it sounded like she was French.
Oh,
I was gonna
I
say that's
mean,
cool if she's French.
could just be my brain injury accent.
It makes you
So I'm
sound
gonna.
French. That's pretty cool.
Wow, yeah. I mean, I've gotten worse things than French. I've gotten "you sound stupid" type
Well,
things. So I'm
that's
gonna
just
take French.
rude.
I mean, yes, it was rude, but I'm saying I've gotten worse. But the point is, the Red Stars are going to be a good team this year. You can watch them. They most weeks it's kind of hard to find the exact place they always play because again they don't get much national
Can
screen time.
you can you stream
But
it? Is it online?
is Paramount Plus is the main place you can find almost all the games. Paramount Plus. They even play some games in Chicago. They play on UPN. They play
Oh wow.
so they play on multiple different networks and all that. But anyway, wherever you find them, look them up. They play this upcoming weekend. They play the 22nd against the Orlando Pride, and that's in Orlando. That's Sunday at 6 p.m. Again, my favorite player, Malcu, is injured, so you won't see her, and you won't see the other forward that they have, who is actually JJ Watt's wife, Kalela
That's
Watt.
right. Yeah, yeah. I
But
knew that.
but she got injured, and Malcu was injured, so they won't be looking super great, but just always fun to watch.
There you go. There
So
you go. You know what would be
I'll
fun?
be
You know what would be fun next week? If we have Dallas back, you should come up with all of the what was it?
in
S
WSL.
NWSL. You should come up with all the cities and have us try to guess the team names.
You know what? I can do that.
Boom. Because I would not have guessed the racing fan club or whatever you said. What'd you say?
It's Louisville Racing Football Club, and again,
Racing
it's
club.
racing because Kentucky Derby is in Louisville.
Ah, that's
All
right.
right, so and the Red Stars are because the Chicago flag they are red stars, which
That's
actually
true.
anyway. There are reasons for things. We can't actually, yeah.
Of course.
You know what? Next week we will do something like that.
Boom.
All right. So, you know what? This is actually going to wrap up episode 22 of the On a Family Basis podcast. Again, my name is Jake.
And I am Ben.
If you're watching on YouTube, still subscribe. If you're watching up until now, click that one. If you're listening, subscribe wherever you're listening. Do that. Check out our Instagram and our TikTok. I post not only clips but also reactions to stuff that's happening during the weekend baseball. So check us out there. Family Basis Pod. So we'll be back next week. Next Wednesday, you have another episode. So come back and listen or watch us or do whatever. Hopefully, Dallas will be back. So we'll have the three of us. So
Yeah, perfect.
all right, we'll see you guys.
Bye.
Bye.